And start by just saying, you're probably wondering, I see Kim, but why is she not talking? Why are you talking? I'm Jan Handa. I'm the state coordinator for the 21st Century Community Learning Center program. And Kim has been experiencing quite a bit of internet problems the last couple of days, where her signal goes in and out, and sometimes it freezes up, and just a lot of both audio and video problems. And so I'm going to be facilitating this morning, but she's right there, and I told her to go ahead and try hopping in occasionally if she wants to, but we also will take advantage of having the chat feature. So just kind of keep your eye on that too, because we encourage all of you to ask questions as we go along, pose questions here for our presenter today if you would like, and also if we have any resources to share, we put those in there. So we would also encourage you to go ahead and type your name into the chat, tell us where you're from. That's also helpful, just so that we know who all has joined us today. So I'm really happy for our presenter today. This is Becky Barnard, and she is from the Nebraska Council on Economic Education. And she has been so generous sharing resources with our 21st century programs. And they are one of our featured partner spotlights. You can find more detail about her and her program up on our website, but she has been so gracious to join us today. So Becky, I'm going to just turn this over to you and let you take it away.
Okay, thank you, Jan and Kim, for inviting me to speak to all of you today about a really important topic, financial literacy, personal finance. So I'm looking forward to speaking with you, sharing some resources, and answering all your questions. As Jan mentioned, I'm with the Nebraska Council on Economic Education. We are a nonprofit organization housed at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. We have 5 centers throughout Nebraska, so closer to where you might be located that we could connect you with, and we can talk about that as we go along. We do support teachers and students with economics and financial literacy information, curriculum, workshops, things like that. So I'm going to get started, and as Jan mentioned, please feel free to enter questions in the chat. We'll keep this as loose as possible, and I'll get started. So let me share my screen with you. Okay. Okay, great. So we're going to talk about strategies for teaching personal finance. Okay. Okay. So if you want your students to develop good money habits, you need to start very young. Back in 2013, research from behavior experts David Whitehead and Sue Bingham at the University of Cambridge found that our approach to money, such as planning ahead and delaying gratification, is set by age 7. Interesting. That doesn't mean that you're destined for a life of debt if you miss this window. It does, however, mean that changing your money habits may be more challenging. So researchers recommend that we all start teaching our children good money habits as early as possible. So that's what we're going to talk about. So these are our constituents that we're going to hopefully be helping. You can make a difference. That's what I want to assure you. You can introduce financial concepts, create savings and spending habits, and just nurture an overall sense of learning in this area, all areas. Okay, why is financial literacy so important? I've got some statistics for you. A basic understanding of financial literacy is critical now more than ever. Nearly 9 in 10, or 88% of Americans, say that the COVID-19 crisis is causing stress on their personal finances. More than half, or 54% of Americans, say among the top 5 things causing the most financial stress right now is not having enough saved. 41% don't have enough emergency savings. 23% report they don't have enough for retirement. Almost half of the individuals say that they are worried about their ability to pay bills. And 1 in 10 Americans, and this might have gone up since then, is now seeking unemployment benefits. So now more than ever, these issues are critical and very important to share with our students going forward as they create their futures and become our leaders. Okay, so let's talk resources. We have some curriculum that may be already at your centers and online. We're going to go over some worksheets that are printables that, again, you will be able to access online or at your centers. Online activities such as arcade games and videos. I'm going to show those to you a little bit later. And then we also suggest inviting guest speakers to come to your programs from local banks, financial planners, credit unions, and business owners. Many times the local banks and credit unions do have materials, curriculum, and even little gifts to give to your students, and they already have that established. So just by inviting them into your centers or into your programs, they would be more than willing to share that with you, and often like to make that connection in their communities. So these are the specific resources that we shared at your centers. I think it was a couple of years ago. So they may be there, and if not, I have ways that you can get them. So I'm mostly working with the personal finance printables and the financial fitness for life program. It's divided in K through 2nd grade and 3rd grade through 5th grade. We also do have a high school curriculum, if that's something that you're interested in, that follows this financial fitness for life. Each financial fitness for life comes with 15 lessons, fully inclusive lessons, and I'm going to go more into that in a little while. So let's talk about utilizing these resources in your centers. What can you do? So I put together a sample lesson, and it has 4 parts, and these are very flexible and can meet your needs in terms of time and how much time you have to prepare. So I'm suggesting introducing a song or a chant that gets the kids excited and focused. Read or have students read a story, do a worksheet together, and then finish with a game or activity. So introducing a song or chant. I think that it's really a great idea to introduce a song or chant throughout. If you're doing a 6-week program, an 8-week program, a week program, if you kind of introduce the same song or chant to get them, bring them together to start the activity. So this one is really cute. It's I've Got Money, to the tune of Are You Sleeping? And you just would sing, I've got money, what should I do? What should I do? I must make a choice, I must make a choice, spend or save, spend or save. And that's a great way to bring the group together and kind of say, okay, now we're ready to talk about these kinds of issues. And again, if you have older students who might not be comfortable singing, you could do a chant. And those are available in the printables and in the financial fitness for life materials. So, okay. So now let's go to read a story. I'm just gonna move this over here. Okay. So stories are found in the Financial Fitness for Life handbook, or they can be checked out at your school library. The stories can be short, such as the Berenstain Bears have a case of the gimmies, or they can be longer, and you can have the older students maybe choose to read a chapter at each session about this. This particular example is called Money Madness. It's for the younger students, and it just goes into what is money, how do we use money. Many of the titles can be checked out at your school or local library, and your librarians would be glad to help you identify those books. I just did a Google search and came up with a list of books, and it showed it by age, but you can also, again, I think your libraries are a great resource for this, and then getting those books in. And they're more than willing to help you, your school librarian or your local librarian. So here's another group of examples of books that you could read. They can be stories about entrepreneurship or saving for something special, or earning money, or just what is money, specifically what is money. So there's a variety of types of stories that you can read. And again, for different age groups, you can see that this particular slide, I have some younger kindergarten and 1st grade books, but there are older books for older students as well. Okay, so now we've read the story, we've done the chant, now we're going to go do a worksheet together. So the worksheets I got from my printables. packet, which I'm going to share with you how to connect with that if it's not at your center currently. But the worksheets are for varying grade levels. So this particular worksheet is for your younger students, and they're going to be working on their savings goal. And you want to tell them they're going to be drawing a picture of something they really want in this piggy bank. So let's say it's a skateboard, and your student draws a really cute skateboard, and you can be having conversations and kind of get the juices flowing that way. And you would want to say, well, how much do you think that costs to buy a skateboard? And they might come up with some really great answers, like $1 or $5. And then when you share with them, you can do a quick search on your phone. A skateboard is really like $30. Oh, okay. Well, how would we go about saving for that? What are some steps you could do to get the $30 to buy the skateboard? Do you get money for your birthday? Do you, can you do chores around your house? So basically you can talk about, this is what I'd like. How do I get that? Because it's just because I want it, I don't get it. So talking about goals and saving and the concept of saving, introducing it at a very early age. Okay, these next two, I love these next two. So these are for our older students. We have the Let's Shop worksheet, which talks about spending. So basically the students have $2 to spend. They're going to circle 2 of the items that they would like to buy when they shop. And then they're going to kind of talk about what are the items, how much were they, how much did you spend, did you have any money left over, did you have money, what are you going to do with the leftover money, did you spend too much, what are you going to put back? So that's kind of a great conversation. Also, it points out to the students, you don't get to have everything. You have to make choices, and you have to prioritize your choices. Similarly, right next to it is the what I want for the party. This goes more to budgeting and decision making. So these young ladies are getting together to plan a party, and they want to choose some items. They have a total budget of $50. So in both of these, you're doing some basic math, following up with some basic math, and they have to decide, do I want the cake and the pizza, or do I want, what do I want? I can't have it all. And I don't know, I have 3 children, so my children always want it all. They're like, well, can't I have everything? And I'm like, no, we have to talk about how much money we have. Even now, my college daughter is home right now. She's moving into her apartment, and she's like, I want a new bed, and I wanted this, and I went, that's great, but we only have so much money. So we need to prioritize and make some choices. So this is an early exercise for the students to do. It's very simple. It wouldn't take a lot of time, and it will create a lot of good conversation. Okay. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, I'll keep going. The next, lead a game or activity. This is, again, starting off with our younger students, designing a coin. What this lesson, it's in lesson 3 in our Financial Fitness for Life book. So it will suggest that you bring in coins for the students to touch and feel and talk about. What do we do with a coin? What is a coin for? What does a coin look like? And then they're going to design their own coin. What would be important to put on their coin? Maybe a value, maybe a picture of someone they love or an important picture. We can talk about who's on our coins. Leaders of our country are on our coins. Dates are on our coins. Values are on our coins. So you can kind of talk about that with them, and it creates a conversation about what is a coin. This next one are, again, for the older students, kind of moving up, and all of these forms are found in your Financial Fitness for Life materials. But writing and recording a check, I know that's pretty much almost obsolete, but it still does occur. I know, for example, for the stimulus, many people got checks, not direct deposits. So that's an important, what is a check? And again, referring to my personal experience with my 3 children, all 3 of them had no idea what to do. So we had to talk about, they had to put down a deposit for their apartment. We had to talk about writing a check. So I recognized that they had no idea that we were doing that, my husband and I, as we were paying our bills. So this is a great exercise. If you have some leftover checks at home, if you've moved, or if you work with a bank, they might be able to give you some blanks that the kids could fill out and practice filling out a check. Right next to it is a companion piece on talking about methods of payment. It goes over the advantages of using a check and disadvantages, and the advantages of using a debit card and disadvantages. This is a great companion piece to work together to talk about how do we pay for things when you go to the store. I remember, this is a great example. So my daughter, she was young at the time. She was probably maybe like first grade. And she wanted something. And I said, well, Sam, that costs money. And she goes, well, can't you just go to the bank and use your card and get more money? And I was like, okay, yes. I mean, she thought literally I would go to the bank and get money whenever I wanted anything. So I had to explain to her, that's our money and we have to use it for different things. We can't just take it out of the bank. Yes, we can, but it needs to be limited and managed. So it's a good conversation. But you could bring in a debit card or bring in a blank card. Again, getting it from your bank, or if you're comfortable showing your card and letting the students see, and this is how we pay, and this is a way to pay, but it's definitely coming out of our account where we have our money. So we have to be aware of what we're doing. But I think that's a really great thing to talk with students about. How do you pay? What do you pay? And kind of helping them understand the process. Okay, just following up with the Financial Fitness for Life materials, each lesson, so here are the workbooks. This is what would be at your centers, or again, I'll show you how to access online. Each lesson contains background and description, economic and personal finance concepts, objectives, the amount of time required to complete the lesson. So you might want to take parts of the lesson, not the whole thing if time is an issue, or you want to spread the lesson out over a week or so. The materials, as I mentioned, the things you can copy, and then if you needed to bring anything or collect anything ahead of time, like if you're doing the create a coin, you'd want markers, paper, things for the students to decorate their coin. Procedure, the steps of how you would introduce the lesson, present the lesson, some questions that you might ask the students, so you don't have to come up with that on your own. They have it all in there. And then a closure activity, an assessment if that's something that your center was interested in doing, and then extension activities that you could add on to each lesson. And again, as I mentioned, each book has about 15 lessons, full lessons that are available. Going back to inviting a guest speaker, I think this is a great option. Your community bankers and credit union and financial planners and business owners want to be a part of their communities, and being involved in your center and sharing information that they have is valuable. It's meaningful to the students. It's meaningful to the community leaders. The business owners can let students know maybe how they got started. So talk a little bit about entrepreneurship, but how did they get started? What was their nest egg to start their business? And then also they could touch on what are they looking for in future employees? What kind of skills do the students need to become employees? How are they going to get an income that they can save and invest in? So they need a career. So this is just kind of touching on that. Again, we're just introducing these ideas and starting them on the process. Okay, so implementation of all these resources. I have a couple of ideas. Of course, the ideas are limitless, and you probably have some already in your head. Consider having a lesson once a week for 6 weeks. Create some excitement and anticipation by choosing a fun name like Moneymakers Club or Wednesday Wealth Builders, or just kind of a fun. So then every Wednesday at this time, you would introduce the next financial concept. And it could be more than 6 weeks, less than 6 weeks, whatever works for your center and your program. Another idea is you could have lessons every day for 1 week and really focus on those curriculum for that week. And you could do it 2 to 4 times each academic year. I would definitely promote April Financial Literacy Month as a potential week or a time that you could implement these programs, and create your own Moneymakers Club. Okay, so we do have some additional resources that I was talking about, and I'm going to see if I can get to my screen, and sorry. Let me go back. I have these all open, so it'll just take a second to pull this up. So this is the Econ Lowdown that I'm clicking on. It's a free award-winning platform. Teachers can access it for free. You do need to log in and give your information, but you can see that there are many videos, lessons already ready for you. It's divided by age level, so you can find the age level appropriate lessons. You can see there's one for middle school. Ella Saves Today is elementary. Cards, Cars, and Currency is a lesson maybe for the older students. And they are a wonderful resource. As I mentioned, they're award winning. We also have Next Gen Personal Finance, and they have an arcade. And you can go on these. These are free online games. You can see that they have budgeting, paying for college, investing. It shows how much time that you need to play the game. So 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And then you can print out a reflection worksheet where the students can fill that out, and you can have a conversation with them about what did they learn, how did they manage their budget, did they make their savings goals. There's about 7 different programs that you can work with that, again, are free. It gives you, and you can play it over and over. I've played the investing game a bunch of times. It's really fun, and you get better each time. So that is fun for the kids because they probably like the challenge of improving. And I really love the reflection sheets so you're not just playing the game, you're actually taking time to reflect and what did I learn, or what did I gain from playing that game, as well as have fun and play the game. So that's another one. The last one I wanted to show you is Econ EdLink. This is also a free resource. There's some that you can buy, but it has lessons. Many of the lessons are free, and you can choose your resources by grade level. So I chose K through 2, and you can see right here is the personal finance printables, where I got many of the handouts and worksheets that I showed you. So if you click on that and get into that, you can just download it and print your lessons and your worksheets and your songs and everything as you need them. So there's that. I'll scroll down a little bit so you can see some more lessons. Everyday opportunities, open for business, on how to entrepreneurship, every penny counts. So there's a wide variety of hands-on banking. Oh, this one's really great. Using children's literature to teach elementary math and economics. Great list of books, great list of children's books that you can check out from your library and read to the kids, and that will align with what you're trying to share with them. And this will also give you some worksheets and some questions you can ask the students. So all of these 3 are free. You do need to sign in and create an account, but it's free and available for you to access and get all the materials. Okay. Okay, and this is linked in the presentation, so you will get this, a copy of this at the end. Okay, so how can we help you, the council? We can help you connect with a local resource. If you say, Becky, I'm really interested in having a guest speaker. Do you know anyone in Wayne that could speak to it? Come into our center, and we oftentimes, because we have centers throughout the state, can find someone for you to come in and speak with your students face-to-face and give them some great information. We can help you find specific curriculum to meet your needs. Let's just say that your area, you really want to focus on savings. So we can find specific curriculum focusing on savings or budgeting, whatever your area of interest is. Maybe you have a lot of youth that are getting ready to go to college and you want to prepare them for that, or saving for college, or thinking about college if they're at the upper end of elementary or middle school even. That's an area we could help you with. Also, we can answer any questions you might have about setting up your program and provide you with the support you need. How do you do that? You contact us. I put my email here. I realized I forgot to put our web address, but we are found at Nebraska Council on Economic Education on the web. You can just put that in your browser and you would find us right away. And you're ready. You're ready to start your own Moneymakers Club and introduce these concepts, very important concepts, to these students, and it will serve them as they continue to become our future leaders, our future consumers, and our future community members. I will take any questions.
I
Other
did.
questions?
I did in the chat, Becky, as you were showing those those websites with free resources. I did post in the chat those links.
Thank
So
you.
remember, for those of you that have been on our calls before, you can save the chat. If you go down in the very bottom of the chat box over to the right, there's 3 little dots. If you click on those 3 dots and then just select Save Chat, it'll save it on your computer.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you so much, Becky. That is just such vital information for students of any age, but also for staff working in programs and older, mature people like me. So financial literacy is just such a really valid topic for everyone, no matter what their age. So if there aren't any questions, I'm going to share my screen and show you on our website where you can access information about these Stay Connected webinars that we're having. Kim, if you can just nod your head, are you seeing my screen? Okay, all right. So this is our Stay Connected website, and those of you on the call probably know that because you found us, but here's the link right here where you would join the call. And then if you would like to be added to our email group so that you get notifications about additional things that we're putting out, just go ahead and fill out that form right here. And then we also can give you a half hour of credit on, through DHHS for participating in this professional training. And so you just click on this link on the bottom here and fill out that information. And then once a month, our assistant Sherry will be emailing out those certificates listing what you participated in. We do provide those whether you've participated live online or if you watched the recording later. And if you're wondering about the previous webinars, under archived webinars here, we've got everything listed that we have previously recorded. These have to be closed captioned, and that takes us a little extra time, but as those are ready, then they're posted here, and you can click on the title and then you'll see a little description and when it was recorded, who the presenter was, and so on. And then for upcoming webinars, you click here in the middle and you can see here's Becky today doing our webinar today. And then as you go along, you're going to see the schedule a little bit farther out. Kim has been really busy talking with lots and lots of partners that want to get on our schedule. So in the very beginning, we thought this would be a way to stay connected in between our Get Connected annual conferences. And we had our first one, and then about 2 weeks later, we were in the midst of a pandemic. And so these have become weekly offerings to help you continue to receive some professional development and resources that you can use. Many of these work really effectively with remote learning, but especially whenever you are able to come back together in person to run your programs. So I'd like to thank Becky again for spending the time and preparing the materials for us. We so appreciate that. Becky was so generous with 21st Century. If you have a program that is receiving funding from 21st Century and these resources are not something you're familiar with, talk to your project director. About 2 years ago, we were able to distribute those based on the grade levels that you served for each of our grantees. And if you're a newer program, then contact us and we'll see what we can do to get you lined up with some materials too. So looking forward to next week after our 3-day weekend, a holiday, but nobody can go anywhere. But May 28th, next Thursday, you can see here our featured speaker is going to be Teresa Greenleaf. She is from Walt Hill Public Schools, but she's also a NASA Nebraska Space Ambassador, and she's going to be sharing NASA-based STEM activities. So we're all looking forward to that again next week. So we hope everybody has a really good day. Enjoy this holiday weekend. Everybody stay safe, and we will see you next time. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks. Becky, Jan.